Hey everyone! How's everyone doing? I have a little tidbit planned for you guys tonight, but I want to check in first and foremost about the spring cleaning chat, okay? So we had somebody in there dropping like podcast links and things like that. You know what, you guys? It's okay. We serve every population, and I think that person was a little bit older, and it just goes to show like this truly is for everyone, including our older population. And sometimes they are going to struggle with technology. Like that is just the reality of what we're doing here, right? Because this is Shackley and we serve everybody. So I know Stacia was talking, she's not on this call right now, but she was talking about how she often has to really help her older people with their purchases, literally walking them through step by step. And so when I saw all that going off, I was just like, yep. That's right on par for what we're doing here. So no worries. We just removed her from the group, not because there was any issue, but we just removed her so that they could do more of a one-on-one relationship in terms of getting her on the call and helping her. So if everyone was wondering, like, did Cass get mad and remove her? No, I didn't. It was just better. It was just better for her. So, okay. Show of hands, how many people wish for me to drop the bundles that will be featured in the chat? Or do you guys want that to be more of kind of like a surprise for our people? Show of hands, yes? Okay. Um, I'm gonna send out an email featuring the bundles tonight, and hopefully anybody who's like in the chat will be on my email list so they'll get to see them. Um, what else was I gonna say? So if you haven't sent your money yet, please do that because our obviously raffles will be tomorrow night for the call. And I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a huge volume booster for us as a team. I know a lot of people have some big goals, whether it's like their first bonus or even their first sale or um maybe hitting director, right? Like these bundles were created strategically by Melanie Mitro. And if you know anything about her, she never does anything out of intention, right? Everything is done in intention, with intention, and they were created specifically for volume building purposes, right? And also because everything that will be featured works. Like it's gonna be amazing. Um, so if you have any questions regarding that group or the chat, please drop it in this chat and I will address it before we get off the call. Yes, we are just doing a bunch of $25 gift cards, but only towards things that are like highlighted on the call or going back towards a purchase. So I will make that really clear tomorrow. I was kind of trying to like give people a chance to dump all their people in, and as we continue to do that tomorrow, I'll be in there, happy day of, you know, um we've got this many hours. I'll do like a 2 hour warning, a 1 hour warning, a 30 minute, and then like, okay, we're kicking off. And at that probably 1 hour mark or 2 hours before, I will drop the link. And again, remind your people if they're in there, they can bring their friends and family. They are allowed to do that. And if they need to link them up with you and you guys want to put them in the chat too, that's great. Like as many, like the more the merrier. I would love for that chat to be like 100 people. That would be so cool, right? And we actually have a lot of people. You guys have done a kick butt job of dumping people into that chat. I think it's going to be a great time tomorrow. So, okay. I think after all is said and done, we'll have 9 or 10, probably 10 $25 gift cards to give away. So we'll just keep drawing them. And, that might be a deal breaker between somebody being like on the fence and being like, hey, you just won this gift card. Did anything interest you tonight? Give them a little time to mull it over, within the hour. If they don't purchase, we'll pass it on to the next person. So that's exciting. That's exciting that we're doing this and that we're doing it in this way so that we're giving back to our community, and then they're giving back into our business. Okay? Okay. So, um, we have all prepped, planned, reviewed the Google Drive for this event. If you have not, please go look at it. There are tons of just amazing resources in there. Even tonight, when I was like looking for like the kind of language I wanted to use with my voice note that I sent, I was like reading stuff and I was like, oh, I missed this. I didn't see this before. Like there's so much good value in there. So continue to circle back to it, continue to use it. Um, and if you guys have questions, just drop them in the admin chat and we'll figure it out together. Okay. So moving forward, I'm probably going to keep our call tonight very short. I want to talk a little bit more social media with you guys. And that is just to set us up for success as we move forward. So if you guys are or are not aware, I was invited to this six-figure seller mastermind call, and I have been learning so much. Today was our second call, and just hearing like the plan to build this business to a billion, it's incredible. And every single one of us is a part of that. And it's not in a way that when I'm listening to this, it's like, oh, all the little worker bees, work their butts off so that the people at the top can make, $1 billion. This is like, how does Julie, how does Katie, how does Kristen, how does Amber, how does Jessica, how does Heather, how does Angela, how do I create a six-figure income quickly? Like that, like we are here with huge financial goals, and the plan that they have in place for us to help us get there is going to work. And it's going to be amazing. So there are going to be some new things rolled out over the next month, but there's also going to be it sounds like a shitload of new things dropping at convention. So I know a lot of us are like figuring out our arrangements. We got our tickets. Drop in the chat if you got your ticket. Drop in the chat if you got your hotel. I want to hear from you guys. Like, we are going to have a huge crew there, and fingers freaking crossed, I don't go into labor before the convention. It's going to be amazing, you guys. Like, this company is amazing, and I don't even know what's coming. It's like so highly confidential, but I'm super excited. Like the hype is real. So for the people who are at Roger's house, Jamie, Melanie, like Sarah, they know what's coming. It was released to them and they're not saying, but they are geeking. So there are things in the works. Here's one thing that I do know is there will be a new incentive for directors coming. Okay. If you are looking at the compensation plan, and I don't know the details of this, but it's what I'm thinking, what I'm hoping, and hopefully what we'll find out tomorrow on our director call. If you look at the compensation plan, there's, ambassador, there's director, there's senior director, coordinator, senior coordinator. And as it goes up, starting with senior director, all the way down at the bottom, there's a bonus, and it's cash bonus, right? So when you hit director, you're earning your free ticket to convention and a one night stay in the hotel, which is amazing because, especially being in Chicago, it's not cheap, right? It's cool. It's awesome that they do that. But what I think is coming is that empty little bonus box. I think it's going to have a number in it. So I think we'll find out tomorrow. And I think that would be amazing because director is something that you guys can hit as an affiliate. Even if you're not team building and you're like, obviously we know, like to build to a billion or to have a six-figure, income coming in, that is hard work over time and the real money comes from team building, right? But if you're looking to hit your first leadership rank, which is director, that is something you can do independently. And it should be rewarded on the front end. And the thing I love the most about this company is that when we talk, they listen. And so I think that is something that was brought up. And it's not like, oh, well, maybe in a few years, or we review our comp plan every 3 to 5. It's like, oh, okay, I hear you. Let's do something about it. So again, nobody's saying, and I don't know what it is, but I'm hopeful that a dollar sign will be there and that we'll know more tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that. I really truly believe that rewarding our people on the front end, rewarding us on the front end is going to not only help build momentum, create leadership, but keep people longer, right? Like that is a huge deal to like hit your first leadership rank, to know that you can do it with a team or without, and then to be rewarded. That's amazing. So fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Hopefully I don't eat my own words tomorrow and then they're like, "Oh no, sorry, there's no money for you." But I think fingers crossed. Okay. So that is coming. There is going to be um more information about new launches and new products and things like that that will be rolled out in April. And then again, new products dropping at convention. So stay tuned. Um, we have a lot going on. We're going to take it week by week, announcement by announcement, and I will keep you guys posted every step of the way. Okay, so let's not overwhelm ourselves, just one thing at a time. So one trend that I have noticed about this team is that not just this team, like our upline and our upline's upline and upline, right? Like all the way to the top is that there is a huge revamping of our brand and our social media and everybody is learning. Okay, so there was a huge training last night by Jamie. She did a fabulous job talking social media. If you guys haven't seen that training, go catch it. That's also a reason why when we launch our new ambassadors into the new ambassador mentorship, one of the very first weeks that we have of training for people is social media. So with social media, you guys, keep in mind it is a learned skill. Nobody was just born and was like, you're amazing at this, right? Everybody had to learn somewhere. Okay. And let me just remind you, when I started in network marketing, I didn't even know what Instagram was. My little baby sister, who's like 7 years younger than me, I didn't even have a flip phone. I mean, a smartphone. I had a flip phone. I didn't have a smartphone. I was like, how do I do this? Right? Like I literally was starting at baseline, okay? And I just use that as an example because like all of us have to learn. So if you're new and you feel like you're behind, you're not behind. You're just getting started. That's a beautiful thing because maybe you won't make all the exact same mistakes that I made when I started. Like there are so many tools and resources and things for us. I remember when I first got started, I was working in foster care, so I had a little foster care phone and I had my phone. I was recording myself. Meanwhile, I didn't know how to add music, so I was playing Pandora radio off of my work phone in the background and trying to get my phones close enough that it would pick up the sound. Like, you guys, like you could not have stumbled over your like clumsiness as much as I did when I started. So if you feel like you don't know what you're doing, again, it is a learned skill. Every single thing is a learned skill, okay? If you are like, I don't know how to do this. First of all, Google it. Second of all, YouTube it because there are tons of tutorials on YouTube. If you have like I don't know if TikTok is like black marketed still right now, but like if you have TikTok, like TikTok has tutorials on how to make your stories fun, right? They have like all these different things, and your social media doesn't need to be grand. It doesn't need to be special. It doesn't need to be fabulous, but it does need to be, things we've talked about, well lit. And it's more about you. You're the brand. Okay? People are not joining you just because of the products. They're joining you for you, right? And that is something that we continue to hear from Jamie, from Melanie, from Sarah. Heard it again today from Emily Ford when she spoke. And so I'm going to share some of my top takeaways from the six-figure cult that we had today.
Love
And
you.
I do think that
Shut your
they are
door. I'll bring the
going
dog in after.
go into this training a little bit more with us in April, but some of the tips were so good that I didn't really feel like I wanted to wait. Because even for me, as somebody who, I show up on social media every single day, I felt empowered hearing this advice, and I felt like I have changes I can make. And if I'm feeling like that, I think it's something to pass down to you guys and not wait on that. So, I'm not going to do like a huge whole social media training, but again, I want to give you guys my top takeaways. So, the first thing that really stuck with me is like this idea of like, especially if you're new. If you're new or you were new 6 months ago or whatever, like to network marketing, or if you think back to like remembering when you first joined, you probably were somebody who was like, I don't even share on social media. Like, I post a picture of my kids here and there, but I don't know how to do a story. I don't really know. I wouldn't even know where to add captions. I, I just have no idea, right? Like, I have no idea how to do social media, right? So then you learn. And then you join Shackley and you start really learning and you hear me and you hear Jamie and you hear Sammy and you hear all these people or whoever your upline is telling you, like, share the products, be proof of the products, like share what you're doing, share Shackley, share the business, right? Um, but I want to caution you, okay? Are you spamming your social media? You really need to take a good look at it. Is every story you create, or 95% of the stories that you create, or 90% of your posts, is it Shackley, Shackley, Shackley? Is everything, here's my link, here's this product. Like we always tell you guys, like, what problem did this product solve for you? But is there more than that? Is there more depth to you than that? Okay. And another thing that you hear is people have to know, like, and trust you. Okay. And this idea of trust with like your social media followers, how do you build it? Okay. A lot of thoughts came to my head when I was asked this question today. How do you build trust? And, you know, for me, it was kind of like, maybe like somebody that I respect, or I've been watching them a long time, or, you know, just thinking about all of these things. And the answer is it's time spent. It's time spent. So here, think about it this way. Derek and I have been together for 7 years, so over 7 years, and we've been married for coming up on 5. Okay. So prior to marrying him, I love him. Like man of my dreams, right? He's a dream come true. I spent, you know, however long between hanging out with him for the first time and marrying him, making decisions about him, watching him, looking at his character, looking at what he does when he's stressed out. What does he do when he's angry? How does he handle his emotions? What kind of father is he? What kind of man is he? Like, I made judgment calls on him over time, right? Time. And over time, I began to trust him. And just like in your friendships, right? It's the same way. You watch, you see what people are about, you learn new things about them every day, right? My mom always used to tell me, like, it takes a lifetime to truly get to know somebody because over a lifetime, people will change. And so that time spent with them creates trust. There's a study that says it takes 7 full hours of one-on-one time. Full hours, not like you're watching somebody for 7 days, like 7 full hours. It would be like if Amber and I went on on our retreat to Florida and we were locked in that little apartment room that we were in for 7 hours and we just had to sit there and only be with each other. Like it would like 7 hours straight one-on-one time where you don't stop talking and you only are relationship building, okay? It takes 7 hours for somebody to start developing real trust. Okay, so if you think about how many touches you have on social media, right, with other people, maybe you're sliding into their inbox, maybe you're posting and they're seeing it, maybe you're complimenting them, maybe you're checking in on an old friend, or maybe like whatever the connection is, 7 hours of doing that for somebody to trust you, right? Like if you're new here, and I'll just use myself as an example, and you joined under me, you probably were watching for a while, right? Or if you're somebody who came over from Body, you probably came with me or whoever your upline is, because I'm just, again, using me as an example. I did the research, I asked the questions, right? And you trusted when I said, I'm doing it and this is better. We're building better, we're building different. And if you trusted me, maybe you signed up right away. Maybe you took a little bit longer because you wanted to really trust me, really trust the process, right? But it's that time. You took your time, you made your decision, you sat back and you watched, right? So it's that time um to build that. And so what are we doing here in this business, right? We want to attract competent leaders to be on our team. Competent leaders who are full of fire, who come out with a bang, right? They take this business by the balls and they say, I want the most out of it. And I want to build and I want a six-figure income and I want that fire, right? How do we find those people, right? How do we find those new competent people? We have to start showing them who we are outside of Shackley so that people can really know us. Okay. So if all I'm sharing is Shackley, 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 you are now missing who I am as a mother. You are missing my recovery story. You are missing the fact that 11 and a half years ago, I lived on the floor of a condemned house that was covered in fleas, drug addicted, right? You're missing the fact that if I wanted to eat, I had to steal my food or go to the bathroom outside, right? Those types of resilience factors build trust. Okay. So maybe you're on this call and you're like, why wasn't that? Right? Like that's extreme, but you are something outside of Shackley. You are something outside of Shackley. Whether you survived a loss recently or a divorce or cancer or an open heart surgery, right? Like people here are impacted by great things that make them who they are on a heart and soul level. Okay. That is how you build trust. And sharing outside of Shackley, 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 here's my link. This made me sleep better. This gave me more energy. This helped my kids be more healthy. Like, who are you outside of that? Because once you start to get honest about that, you're attracting your fiery leaders who are coming in because they know you, they like you, and they trust you. Okay. So let's talk mindset. This idea of having like a millionaire mindset. Okay. Like, raise your hand if you're a millionaire. No. What makes me laugh, I got some serious hate when I left Body because I immediately started talking about how much better the money was. And you know how many haters slid into my post saying, "Oh, I thought you were making so much money with Beachbody. You said you were doing all this and that." And that's because I gave you what I wanted to portray myself as when I was with Beachbody. And yeah, I was supplementing my income and I was making ends meet. And when I had the opportunity to change courses and I made that decision knowing I could be pregnant, I no longer accepted that just making ends meet was good enough for me anymore. That was my personal decision for my family. I didn't want to make ends meet because I knew adding another child in meant I was drowning again, right? The math wasn't mathing for what I wanted, for what we want, for what our dreams are. So I started to share about that. And I do like think back. And I'm not far away from like this think back. Like it's not like, oh, years ago. And then, like, no, I think back to when I had bills that I was like, I was having a hard time paying on time, right? Like auto pay, we're not doing that because like we can't trust that that money will be there. So I'll pay it when I'm ready to pay it. I'll stay on top of it. I'll be organized, right? Christmas maybe is going on a credit card or like just like stressful life things, right? Like Harlem was born and Kahari's birthday was 5 days later, and I was in the middle of Target 5 days after giving birth in a freaking diaper, bleeding out with my tits out, putting everything on a credit card. Like that was real stress and that was hard. Like that, but that was real. And I shared, thankfully, I'm healthy enough to be standing here doing this, and thankfully I have the money to do it. Right? Like that was what I wanted to people to perceive because why? Because people follow certainty, right? People follow certainty. And when you're convicted in something and you believe it on a soul level, people follow you, right? I remember a specific call when I was announcing to you guys, and some of you on this call were here for this. Some of you were not with us yet. But I was nervous. And I told Jamie, I had joined Jamie in my upline, and I said, I'm getting on my last Beachbody call. And I'm going to tell my team that I'm walking away from my sister's team and I'm starting over and I'm joining a new team. And I don't think that they're going to be happy about that. And she said, you keep your chin up and you pour in that fire into your team, and they will come. You shake off whatever limiting belief or mindset that's holding you back, and you get your ass in there and you show up with the excitement that you have without that like reservation of like, what are they thinking or what are they going to think, right? And I did that, and everybody except for maybe one person was on board. I don't think that one person even showed up to that call. And that's okay, right? So people follow certainty. So when you're convicted, people can feel it. And we are in the trenches. As Jessica and I always call it, we're in the messy middle, right? Like we talk about that a lot. Like we're not as successful as we want to be yet, and maybe the excitement of just getting started is starting to wear off because now the real work starts. We're in the messy middle. But it is so baller that we get to show up as leaders and literally show our followers and our potential customers this process every step of the way. One thing that I heard Jamie say, was it Jamie? I think it was Jamie last night. Jamie or Sarah, one of them said, what's your hero product? What's your hero product? I've heard that question so many times and I've just thought, I don't know. I don't know what my hero product is. And then I heard one of them say, well, the business opportunity is a hero product. And it was like a mic drop to my freaking whole life. Because for me, this business is changing everything. How I feel, my excitement, my joy, my financial circumstance, right? My friendships, even my relationships across the board, like all of it. Okay. And that is my hero product is this business, is my team, is you guys are everything to me. Like I am so excited that even though I'm in the messy middle, I'm not Jamie, I'm not Sarah. Like I remember Amber and I stayed up one night stalking Sarah Robbins on Instagram, trying to find pictures of the inside of her house because we just wanted to know, right? Like I'm not there yet. I'm not Sarah Robbins. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not, six-figure earner. But I am showing up like one. I want to show up like one. That is what I'm channeling, and that is what I'm telling people that they can have if they want to lock arms with me and we'll get there together. That is amazing. That is fire. Okay, you guys. So we have to fix our mindsets. So this means a couple of things. First of all, every time you do something and you hear that little voice, you call it whatever you want. It's like you're self-conscious or like if you're religious, like the enemy, the devil, like whatever you want to call it, like that little voice nagging at you, like you're not good enough, you're not ever gonna make it in this, or like even down to just like very basic things. Like you make a post and then like nobody likes it. And you're like, well, I suck. Nope. You have to be convicted enough in what you believe in and just ignore that. You literally have to throw it out the window and stand in your power every single day. Start your day with whatever you do to get there. Personal development, prayer, meditation, gratitude. Like I've been waking up every morning and I have been just sitting in gratitude, saying out loud by myself before anyone gets up, like, what am I so grateful for? And like thanking the forces that brought me here and just sitting in that because I might not be where I want to be yet, but I have sure cut off some toxic relationships to get here. Like, and I'm so happy, right? Like, because I see the vision, I see where we're going, and I'm convicted in it, and I believe it, and I'm encompassing all of that. Okay. So don't fake anything on social media. This is what I don't mean, okay? If you're having the worst day of your life, I don't want to see you showing up in your stories saying, I'm having the worst day of my life, right? Like when we tell you guys to be real and raw on social media, that doesn't mean show up sloppy or show up upset. Don't show up in your stories if you're in the thick of it. What I do want you guys to start doing is once you're kind of a little bit on the other end, circle back and share, I was kind of in the thick of it, you know? I was kind of going through it, but this is what helped me. And this is what I'm going to do moving forward. And you can even do that with your business. So just like a simple example, like if you're brand new and or even if you're not brand new, and all of these groups and these chats and these things feel overwhelming, where you don't want to show up and be in your phone and be like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. This business is so overwhelming. I'm brand new, so I'm still learning. Like, no, don't, don't do yourself like that because you will shoot your business down, right? But once you start to get the hang of it, sure, show up in your stories and be like, hey, I am growing my team. I am inviting you to join it, and it is a learning curve. And I'm here to walk you through that, just like my upline walked me through that. And the support that you'll receive when you come into this team as you take on something new as a student will be like nothing you've ever seen before, right? But you don't show up in the messy middle and be like, oh my God, like this group is stressing me out. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like you show up after the fact, okay? Because I've seen a little bit of that lately, so I wanted to just acknowledge it. Share how you navigated a problem once you've solved it. You know, share how you are navigating a problem as long as like you remember how like last night Jamie used like the very simple example of how I think it was Sammy. She showed a picture and she's like she doesn't show up when she's doing her skincare to like talk because if it's too late at night her energy's super low. And then Jamie said I've seen some of my team do that and I was like oh my God, because that's me, like in the morning when I'm like so tired, I'm like, good morning. I just woke up. It's 5 a.m. I'm about to work out. Like I have to stop doing that. So this morning instead I did a time lapse of me like waking up, taking my Energize, putting my shoes on, eating my meal bar, which if you're wondering what it looks like when you eat a meal bar in a time lapse, it's not cute. It's a little bullfroggy and I don't recommend that at all for anybody. But that's what I did. And I was able to just put, sat in my gratitude, you know, got ready, took my clean energy, you know, getting ready to work out, starting my day off right. And nobody has to like see my stories where I'm like, "Ugh," like it just, it's not cute, right? So we can show up authentically, but we need to show up still as leaders. Okay. So here's something that hit me kind of like, a rock to the face today. Your brand isn't what you say it is, it's what you do. So you need to look at what you're doing on social media. Okay. Like if you're somebody who's like, I've been through this and I've been through that, and I know I'm a survivor and I'm a warrior and I've overcome debt or I'm overcoming grief or like I'm overcoming all of this, right? Like your brand is your reputation. It's how people perceive you, right? So you like it's kind of up to what you put out there, right? You know who you are. But if all you share is Shackley, 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 right? That's going to be your reputation. You're salesy, right? And there's nothing wrong with being in sales. I'm not saying that. Like, we need to stand with our chin up. We are in sales, we are in direct sales, right? But there's so much more depth to all of us than just like that. And that is all, everything that I've just said is leadership for your own team, for your own self, right? Right. Show me a hand if you feel like you could show up better as a leader for yourself and your business. Every hand should be up. Every single person. And if you don't feel like you have anything to learn, you're not going to go far because we all do. We all have so much to learn. It's so exciting. Okay. So, when it comes to creating your own brand and your own perception, right? You don't have to be like a Me Too girl. Like, well, I'm gonna wait to see what this person's doing and I'll just do whatever they do, right? You get to do whatever you want to do. That's what makes you a leader, is standing in your power, going after what you like. Okay? Like people will respect that. When they see you branching off and doing your own thing, that's not a sign of being like antisocial. That is a sign of standing in your power and being a leader, right? Like that is a good thing, right? Um, so if you are trying to grow your team and people aren't showing up for you, or if you have a team and people aren't showing up, are you showing up as a business leader for them? Do they trust you? You know? Are you doing everything that you can to be a strong leader, 10 toes down in your business, right? Ask yourself that. Only you guys get to decide that. Um, and so when we talk about your brand, it's not only perception, so it's what you share and also what you don't. Okay? It's what you share and also what you don't that creates people's perception of you. And awareness. Perception plus awareness. Awareness being, do people even know what you're doing? Okay. I said this in a live the other day and I'll say it again. Sharing the product and being proof of the product is not you showing up and sharing the business. Okay. It is sharing product. People know they can buy from you. Do they know that they can make money with you? Those are two different things. Okay. Keep that in the forefront of your brain. So perception plus awareness equals brand plus value, right? We talk about that all the time. Will this help somebody? So when you're posting on social media, if somebody can read your post and be like, wow, good for them, then maybe that's not how you want to share that particular thing, right? Like, does this help somebody? Does this help somebody somewhere? And it doesn't always have to be about Shackley, right? Like, it could be anything. It can be health related. It can be, you know, pregnancy tips and tricks. It can be like, where did I find my maternity pants, right? Like anything. Does this help people, right? That is how you create your brand. And your brand, it's okay if it changes over time. It is okay if it changes over time. And here's the thing that's really cool is you can literally change at any time. At any freaking moment, you can decide, I don't really like how I was doing that. I don't really like how I'm being perceived. I don't really like how I showed up during this time. I don't think that I want to be that in the eyes of social media anymore. And you can literally change like that. You get to decide that. I remember feeling like that when I left, well, when I got canned from my child welfare job and started in probation. I remember feeling like a lack of respect in child welfare. And there isn't a single day that I'm not wearing like a sweater or a blazer with heels in my new job. And I recreated this image of myself to what I wanted to be in the professional world. Like if you step to me, I have heels on, I will put it on your throat. That is what I am in the world of probation, and everybody knows don't fuck with me. That's my perception because that's how I carry myself, and that's the real me in real life. Only when I'm at home, my slipper will be on your throat because those things come off the moment I walk in the door, right? We're in the robe life over here. Okay. So, but my point is I changed. And I run into people from my old life sometimes. And they're like, "Oh, look at you. You look like you're doing well." And I'm like, "I am, thanks. Bye." Right? Like I've rebranded. I've moved on. Okay? And that is the joy of being a social media business woman. At any point, you can wake up tomorrow and chop your hair off. You can make bangs. You can dye your hair dark. You can decide I don't like any of the clothes in my closet and just change your style. You can decide I don't like Nike anymore. I want to be an Adidas girl. Like I'm saying, like literally down to anything. And that includes being a Me Too girl or a leader. You get to decide how you show up for your business, okay? So, have to start asking yourself, what kind of reputation do you have? What kind of reputation do you want on social media? Because that is where the majority of our business happens, right? So, when it comes to reputation, it's a person's gut feeling about you, your products, and your services. So, all of this to say, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Really, though. Like, go check your social media. Are you spamming the shit out of people with your Shackley stuff? If you're just learning social media, I'm not saying pause. I'm not saying take your foot off the gas. I'm saying, are you sharing all of you? And not the ugly crying parts, right? Like I'm not saying show up crying in your stories, but like can you be more vulnerable? You know, there are so many things that I think, why didn't I share that? Just like regular things that make me me, like watering my plants, you know, and like cleaning my house, just like stepping in dog shit. Just like that's real life stuff. Like I stepped in dog shit. Now I gotta like no, but I'll skip over all that and show you that I am taking clean energy to help me get through it. Like that's spammy, right? We have to start showing more us. And then when you do decide, I'm gonna share my links and I'm gonna share this call and I'm gonna share this, they're not just gonna be like she just wants me to buy something from her, right? So hopefully that was helpful to you guys because as we finish out the month of March and head into April, there is so much more coming for us when it comes to building to a billion, when it comes to creating a six-figure income, when it comes to rebranding ourselves, and when it comes to social media. So I don't want to like take our foot off the gas of like focusing on this. Okay? Everyone feel good about this? Everyone feel like they have some work to do? I know I do. I know I do. Okay. So, um, with that, we have 15 minutes left. Um, I'm going to encourage you guys for the rest of the night to check, number one, check your social media. Number two, check in on your people who are in our Spring Clean Your Wellness group. Make sure that they know what's going on. Okay, don't just throw them in the chat and leave them to drown, right? Like make sure you're checking in on your people. There will be clear instruction in there, of course, throughout the day tomorrow as we head up to 7 o'clock, but people might have questions and they might not be comfortable asking them there, so just circle back around. Don't stop inviting. There are people who won't commit last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, but on the day of, their day finally feels a little bit calmer. They can kind of see that at 7 o'clock they're free. It's not going to be a full hour, so you can tell them it's going to be a shorter call and still invite. Okay? Any questions, comments, concerns, anything that anybody has?
I have a question
Okay.
because I feel like I'm being spammy. So,
Okay.
which is fine.
It's
It's
okay, me
okay.
too.
Um, if so, I get what you mean by like showing how like the products that we use, like how they've changed like certain things about how we like, I don't know. They just change. Like, oh, I use the Energize. Like
Yeah.
I have never been able to use any type of energy drink because of my heart problem.
Hmm.
My heart already beats like 2 beats faster than everybody. So any energy drink that I've used, like literally makes me feel like I'm gonna stroke out.
Hmm.
My question is, should we like, so obviously I know I need to like start saying that. Like, this is the only energy that I've ever taken that hasn't made my heart race. But should we pick like only like a couple of products to share about? Or like, I just use so many and I love them all so much that I want to share them all. But now it's like, that's being spammy. And I don't want to be spammy.
Good question.
Mhm.
There are products that you're going to use every single day, no matter what. Okay? Every time your hand touches a product, you should share it. So
Okay.
the issue isn't sharing what you're using or oversharing what you're using. It's only sharing what you're using.
And like
Okay?
not telling you them like why you use it. Okay. That
And
makes sense.
also, are there ever moments throughout your day where you're not working your business? Right, because you're a
Yeah.
full-time working woman and mother and wife,
hmm
right?
Yeah, and like
So,
sometimes I'm just like, oh, I haven't posted. Like, I need to like, oh, I'm having my mocktail. Like, I need to quickly post that and like post the link. Like,
mhm, mhm. So I think it's less about taking away from what you're already doing well and more about adding in new things that you can share with people that they might not know about you, that you might not talk about very much. Um, like I'll give you some small examples about me. Okay, so I have really bad heartburn and um certain vitamins make me throw up, right? Like I share the vitamins that work, but I don't share like the other side of things that help me. Also outside of Shackley, I'm doing daycare pickup. I'm doing daycare drop off. I never get gas on time. I am always hungry. My minivan is trash. I can barely see the floor of it. There's crushed goldfish everywhere. We are coming up on a big birthday season this summer, and I'm the one responsible for always making cakes for every single child and planning and scheduling and doing all the birthday party things. Like, right? Like that is a part of my life that like somebody who comes to my page who are just starting to follow me, they're not going to know that stuff about me, but they will know I'm in sales, right? They will know I have a toddler. They will know I do team call. It's not sharing less. It's sharing more of the things that make me me. Does that make sense?
mhm. Yeah,
So I think you have to like, and it could even be like just taking a full day and just like, okay, I'm gonna pay attention to what I'm doing. Like, do you share having dinner with your kids? Do you share? Why not?
I don't know because I just
Right.
am trying to get dinner on the table and get my kids in bed at a
Yeah.
reasonable hour.
And that's it. That's the life is moving so fast that we forget. And so sometimes it's just a matter of like snapping a picture and coming back to it to post it later. Post like
hmm
take a picture and I'll throw it up on my stories after instead of just because I do the same thing. We fly through dinner and I'm like, that was a whole thing that could have shown a different side of me. And I didn't share a lick of it. Right. And part of it is like, hey, I'm going to be so present with my family. So
Yeah.
take your picture, take your video, and then put your phone down and come back to it. You know what I mean? Finding ways to just like show your personality. Like, who are you at your full-time job? What's your reputation there?
The same as you. Don't fuck with me. I'm really good at my
Right.
job. Don't fuck with me.
Do people know that
And the
about you
energy, yes. At work,
on
yes.
social media?
Oh, no, probably
Because you
not.
don't talk about it.
No.
You talk about the fact that you have a full-time job, but what do you do? Do you share that? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just getting
Yeah.
ideas going here, right? Like, what do you do? You know, like what does your day look like? Amber did a great job today sharing. Amber and Angela actually both
Angela
did.
did a good job too. Amber, I didn't see yours. I'm sure you did a
Yeah,
great
they
job.
both did a great job. They did it completely separate. Angela did a reel, Amber did a post, but it was like this is because it's both very different. Amber's full-time Shackley. Angela does it in little pockets of time at the gym. And so sh like just showing I'm not just Shackley, Shackley, Shackley. I'm also like I'll just use Angela's example, like scrubbing floors and wiping down the mirrors and getting in my phone and taking a second to check my watch and like all of these things and then greeting clients and having a clipboard. Like it was like all over the place, but just showed like the other side of her outside
Hmm.
of Shackley. Um, Whereas like Amber showed like, hey, this is freedom for me. Like this is working from home. I got to pick my kids up early today because I wanted to. We did a peanut butter jelly picnic in the backyard kind of a thing. Like whatever whatever
Mm,
it was. It was like, oh, I would love to do that with my kids sometime, like
yeah. Amber's really good about showing like all of that. Like usually when I'm doing a video and I'm talking, if the kids come up, I'm like, stop, like go away for a minute. But she's good at just like
letting it ride.
letting it ride, like talking to the kids and then being like, okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, this is what I was saying, which is like so relatable because,
Hmm.
squirrel. Like I forget
And
what I'm doing when I walk into a room.
another good thing that does is it filters out the people who aren't for you, right? If you're
Yeah.
like putting on this like not facade, but like this show of who you are, meanwhile knowing that your kids are absolutely going apeshit with your makeup in the background and you're not showing them like painting their faces or drawing on the walls or whatever, like you're gonna attract somebody who actually, once you get one-on-one with them, they're going to be like, holy shit, this is not what I thought, right? Like, if you're a busy mom and your kids are annoying the shit out of you, and like, you're just like letting them go crazy or like playing, I'm just going to use Amber, I'm going to continue to pick on you. Like, your son loves makeup and he gets all done up and he has like the biggest, most beautiful personality, and you embrace it and show it, and you like, you're not attracting somebody who's judging that. You know what I mean? You're attracting somebody that's like, yeah, like Disney on Ice, makeup, dress, like like that's your people because you have shown the way that you parent. You've also shown that your kids are driving you crazy and you might want to, throw them out of the house or send them to their dads because you have a blended family, right? Like that's all real, and it's so good that you show that because it attracts your true people. Right? Like if you're more of like a type A person over a type B person, share that. Right? Like you know how you always see like the reels about like, oh, I'm on a trip with somebody and there's one person who plans the whole thing and there's the other person who's like, just tell me how much I owe you and I'll show up and let me know where. Like those types of personality things, show that so that people can be like, oh, okay, I like that. Like, do you guys follow like this is a terrible example, but do you guys follow like political or religious accounts that you like completely disagree with? No, you follow accounts that you relate to. You follow accounts that you like. You follow accounts that you like can send reels and memes and shit like that to your friends or whatever. Like that's what people are going to follow you for. And if all you're showing is sales, they don't have anything to send to their friends. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Okay, hold on. Let me just check the chat before I. Oh, I like your comments. Yes, Heather did not come from my team. Don't get the bangs. You guys are funny. It also
Bangs
teaches
are
your
never
kids
a good
what.
idea. Amber, are they? You used to be a hairdresser. Bangs are never a good idea.
Well,
Anytime
not when
I've
you do
done
them
bangs,
yourself.
well, anytime I go to my hairdresser and I'm like, I think I want bangs, she's like, I'm not doing that. Like she
You could
won't.
actually pull off bangs.
I had a side bang. I used to have that big swoopy side bang.
The West Side Swoop, Derek calls that.
Yeah, like the whew. And on my wedding I had that swoopy bang. IP to the swoopy bang.
Yeah, you guys get it. Okay.
All
So that's
right.
what I got for you tonight.
That's that's
8:56. We
good.
did not end it short. So
Okay.
we all need a revamping, and I very much so include myself in that. So just know if I'm teaching you guys, it's because I heard something that I thought I needed to hear, and so I'm now paying it forward. Okay? Okay.